Okay, good evening, everyone. We're joined this evening by Dr. Zach Gould. I've known Zach for quite a few years, so it's a strange one to call him that. But welcome to Zach. I've known him for a long, long time, and this is another episode of our Inside the Lockdown, which we've been doing for members over the last few months. Obviously, since we've had lockdown imposed on us. As I said, I've known Zach for quite a while. We went to the same school together. We grew up around the corner from each other. Our sister, his sister was in the same year as me as well. So, we've known each other for a long, long time, and we crossed paths at Wales Golf as well. Obviously, when you were there, I think you were part of the development team there, not the development team, sorry, the high performance team. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Still part of my role changed slightly within Wales Golf, but still part of the S&T program, and obviously work alongside all the coaches and so on. Yeah, so still enjoying that side of things as well.
And busy doing things slightly different. How's lockdown been for you guys, and obviously with what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes?
It's obviously been a challenging time to say the least, and I suppose just from my perspective, I'm sure everyone's in the same position. I get energy off being around people. I've about to change roles, but I lectured at Cardiff Met University, obviously in front of golfers on a daily basis. I get energy off being in front of people, and then all of a sudden, in the house, you see in the same four walls. I feel like my kitchen is imprinted on my eyeballs. So it's been, as everyone's been through, it has been a difficult transition, and I hate this term, but it has almost become the new normal. But for on a personal level, doing fine and just adapted and just kept busy and just stay positive, really.
Yeah, so that's all you can do, really, isn't it? Like you said, golf is very much an industry of spending time with people, isn't it? You go out on the golf course, you play together, you come in the clubhouse afterwards, and we've certainly missed our members, and I hope that these kind of little snippets of people like yourself and what you're doing in the industry, no doubt will go a long way. But your career to date, from your days of junior golf, I know I'm going to say I played junior golf with you. I played against you, and I remember getting absolutely tanned by you because this man, I'll tell everyone who's watching this, was an excellent player, and it still is an excellent player. So tell us a bit about your sort of career, because when you started off, you were a very, very good player, and you played in the Junior Ryder Cup, if I'm right, alongside some great players, and obviously to where you are now. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
I suppose just to give you a snapshot, and I suppose I could talk about it for hours, but not to talk too much about myself. And as lots of people were watching, I was a member of Ryder Golf Club from 9 to 18. So lots of those years where I suppose I was playing some of my best golf, Ryder was a massive part of that. And still lots of the members I still stay in contact with, and I've got lots of fond memories of the golf club itself, and it's still one of my favorite courses, to be honest. And I'm not just saying that, I promise you. But I really do believe that Ryder played a big part in definitely my junior career. Obviously living just down the road, and Mum just working in dental practice down the road as well. So I spent a lot of my junior years at Ryder Golf Club. I know it's evolved and really grown into big things as well since then. But I suppose to give you a snapshot into, I suppose, my junior career and kind of what's led me to this point, as you acknowledged, I did have a successful amateur career, possibly ranked one of the best amateurs at under 16s level in Europe. After winning the Junior Ryder Cup, playing alongside Rory McIlroy, actually played against Tony Finau and beat Tony Finau in the Junior Ryder Cup there. Did have a successful amateur career. I think, not to get too much into the nitty-gritty things, but this is lots of the information now that I relay back to golfers that I'm working with. Yeah. Even when something's good, if you don't develop it, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
And I think I was definitely a victim of that. So, and I do laugh when you call me doctor. I left school at 16. Do you know what I mean? I'm full of GCSEs. I'm not the out-and-out academic, but I'm passionate about something, and I've applied that sort of passion towards something, and I've achieved obviously good things in that area. But left school at 16, played all around the world, played against some of the best players that you see on the TV. Radda's a member of members of Radda definitely remember this. At 16, I was 5'4", and then at 18, I grew to 6 foot. So in that, I went through massive physical change. But what I didn't do was develop my game. I didn't work. I don't want to say I didn't work hard enough, because I was a very hard worker. I didn't work smart enough on the things that made me a successful golfer. And I never forget, I got to 18, all my peers had kicked on. They then literally transitioned straight onto the European tour. And I was like, right, where am I at? And I literally went all the way back and went down this whole route of rebuilding my swing, really gone to the technical side of things. But playing high-pressured environments all around the world on tough courses, trying to do that has its toll. And I think at the time I didn't really appreciate it, but looking back, I probably did burn out when I got to 20, 21. Because I was trying, everything. At that point, I hit a bit of a crossroads, and I literally I went back to school, in fact, but I took to academia then as a bit of a break from golf, try and find my feet, and I suppose work out what I was doing. But the lesson for me was between 16 and 18, I should have been developing those fundamentals. And I know we've got a strong junior section, so that'll be some of my take-home messages in my show. And there's loads within it. There's loads of small stories. But just as a snapshot, that was kind of where it was at. And then just took it from there, really. Actually, I went back to Cantonian, our old high school, and I spoke to my teachers, and I was sat back doing A-levels of 2021. I still, you don't lose that passion overnight.
No.
And that determination. And I just literally transitioned all that passion and energy into strength and conditioning and trying to understand the body and how that works in relation to golf. And since then, just been on a quest, really, just to answer all those questions.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I said to you before we came on, it's quite an inspiring story, and you laughed, and I genuinely do think it is. It's as you said there, we went to the same school, we were taught by the same people, so I know the people you're talking about who have influenced you there. So, I mean, obviously things have progressed over the years, and I've watched from afar, and I had a little bit of an inside track when you came into Wales Golf. I knew what you were doing there, and to see things progress now into the Dr. Golf platform, which we're going to talk about. Recently partnered with Wales Golf, and this is now a free platform for members across Wales, and something we're going to be promoting to our members come this evening. So tell us a little bit about the platform and who's it aimed at.
I suppose before I go into the specifics and the tech side of things, I think from a training perspective, it's always important to, I suppose, take a step back and understand why it's important, because there's no denying all the best players in the world are demonstrating what they're doing. You got DeChambeau, McIlroy, Dustin Johnson. Obviously, Tiger was one of the first to really showcase how important training is for golf performance. That's ultimately how they use it. And of course, my role at Wales Golf, that was a big part of it, driving performance to try and give them the best opportunity to become the best golfers they possibly can. But at the same time, that training, obviously we've got the health benefits of training. But additionally, linking to some of the injury risk and longevity in the game. A common injury site in golf is the lower back, and the age group that are most susceptible to those injuries are over 50s. And without speaking out of turn, when we get to that point in our life, that's probably where we want to play the most of our golf.
You're right.
So one thing I'm massively passionate about now, yes, we've got the performance arm, but giving your recreational golfers who want to play for fun the opportunity to access these materials, but in turn increase their longevity in the game. So if I can increase your golf lifeline by 5 or 6 years, for me, that's almost as important as generating the next Rory McIlroy or Tiger Woods. There's a lot more golfers who want to play for a longer period. So one thing I've been passionate about the last couple of years, since finishing PhD, and obviously since the sort of transition with some of the things with Wales Golf, is giving, in particular, golfers and golf clubs around Wales access to those materials. Because I suppose people like myself with specific skill set and strength and conditioning for golf, they're not easy to get hold of. So I want to give that opportunity to as many golfers around the world. I know we're focusing on Wales in this initial campaign, We got golfers in Australia, New Zealand, the US, over Europe. It is generally a global platform that people are accessing all over. So that's the why.
Yeah.
That kind of is driving me to ensure everyone can access this stuff.
That's great. It's going to be for the long-term benefit of clubs, isn't it? If we got players playing for longer, they're going to stay members of clubs for longer as well. So what kind of things we're going to have people watching this who are of different demographics, as you can probably imagine. We're going to have our junior golfers who are going to see this, and we're going to have our senior golfers who see this as well. Give us an idea of sort of the types of maybe 1 or 2 exercises they can expect, and is there, I'm assuming then there is something for everyone on that platform.
Absolutely. So I suppose the options available, people can come on and build customized programs. So for example, everything's delivered on an online app, and I've videoed absolutely everything. And that's something I suppose I was passionate about. Like gone are the days we give someone a PDF with some pictures and exercise on, go and do 3 sets of 10 and off you go. Everything now needs to be interactive and engaging and coached and led. So we videoed everything, and you can get everything from a bespoke one-to-one program that might be very specific to what you're trying to achieve. And we also offer things that are very general. And one thing that's worth acknowledging is the large majority of golfers I work with, no matter how good they are at golf, ultimately they're all at the same start point from a training perspective.
Yeah.
Because they're with me, usually because they're golfers, not because they're experts or they're super fit.
Mm-hmm.
So I know age is a thing, but ultimately we're starting at the same process with everyone.
Yeah.
So we start by building the fundamentals, improving people's posture on a day-to-day basis, improving their flexibility, their stability. There's exercise and programs they can do at home with literally just a golf club, and body weight exercises, all the way through to obviously, exercises that they can do with resistance training and in gyms as well. But it's designed to be accessed remotely, on demand, and in a weird way, I'm in your pocket at all times.
Perfect for lockdown.
Perfect for lockdown, is it?
And it is. I mean, it's health and well-being, and certainly mental health at the moment, I think is massive, isn't it? And I think something like this is perfect if it's going to, number one, improve people's golf long term, and it's going to keep them active as well.
It is. I suppose just giving insight into the uptake. In the first 2 days, we've had over 300 people on each day training. Wow. So, I recognise people are massively in need for this at the moment. We need something to focus on, because distraction don't solve the problem, but it does help.
Absolutely.
And move a bit better as well at the same time. Then for me, that's an added value again.
Yeah, good. I mean, it sounds fascinating. We're certainly going to share it. And for those members watching this, if you click on the link below, we're going to put everything that our members need at RADA on there. I can't let you go, Zach, before we talk about some other things in golf. And you mentioned them already, the likes of Bryson DeChambeau and Rory, who are they're super fit guys now, aren't they? It's obviously their career going back 10, 15 years ago. It wasn't quite the same, was it? You got the likes of Bryson, who hits it 400 yards plus now. Do you see that becoming the norm in the game?
Obviously, this is a question that we could talk about for hours and hours. And I suppose just keeping my golfer's hat on initially, I think in golf, it's always going to be a skill-based psychological game. It always is going to be. I don't think there's going to be, and DeChambeau will see this with DeChambeau, I believe. I don't think you can come in and physically dominate the sport. No. I think it's too difficult to do that. I think you need, if to be one of these top players, you need the full package.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it is going to help massively. Yeah. Going back, 10, maybe 20 years, it was a bit of a take it or leave it, because there were a handful of players who didn't do, these types of things, strength and conditioning for golf, and they were still successful. Yeah. Because it's a skill / psychological game. Yeah. But what's happening now is the large majority, you look at the top 100 players in the world, the large majority do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because they can see the transfer and the benefits, so it's become the new need rather than the want. They're seen as a massive advantage and things they could really maximize their game with. Yeah. But it's never going to be the single thing that you can focus on that's going to help you totally transformed the game. Like
Yeah.
you look at Tiger, yes, he hit it further than everyone else, but the other aspects of his game were so superior to others. That's what made him dominant for so long.
Yeah.
So it has its place,
Yeah.
but I think it needs to be interpreted in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it makes the game exciting a little bit, doesn't it, as well? You know, everyone loves to see the ball travel that far, don't get me wrong. And you're right, he hasn't, since the US Open win, he hasn't done a huge amount, has he? And over the course of the history of golf, you've seen technology come in, that's changed, golf balls have changed. Then Tiger came along with arguably the first fitness part of the game came from, and the psychological aspect of the game was talked about. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're into these guys now who are big into gym sessions and hitting it far. And it's nice that we're talking about something. It is positive for the game, I think, overall. And the game is seen in a different light side, isn't it?
Like him or not, he's bringing attention to the game,
Yeah.
which for the growth of the game,
Yeah.
that has to be a good thing. More people are potentially interested in it than they wouldn't have been before.
Yeah.
I know he's a quirky character, but people have done what he's done time and time. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of people doing it, but I suppose he's just showing it in a little bit of a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in many ways, he's given good exposure to the game.
Yeah, good. Well, good stuff. I mean, thanks. We said this was going to be short and sweet. I mean, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Whenever you're always welcome back at Riley. You know that. You know, come down and see us. As I said, we're going to be sharing all this information now with our members. But good to see you. Take care. I know lockdown's been tough. I know you got a little one on the way in a few months' time. So good luck with that. I know I can feel your pain coming with that one. Exciting times for you all, though.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Great. Thanks, Jack.
Cheers.